Hi guys, it's Kelly from Cards by Christine here with you on a Monday night for Paper Pumpkin Live. I love doing Paper Pumpkin Night. I don't even know how long I've been doing it, but pretty consistently now. So I am going to hop on and make sure that I am headed in the right spot. Facebook has done so much switching of stuff. Okay, but there I am. Let's turn the volume off. It's so hard to keep up with everything. They change everything all the time, and I just don't like it. But anyways, here we are. I'm getting myself situated. Thank you so much for joining me. I really, really hope you guys are excited for tonight. I surely am. So, okay, let me get my light set because I'm a little shadowy here. So, happy Monday. I hope everyone is having a great week. I am live. I found it, but I don't see anyone watching or chatting along with. Okay, so maybe there's just a bigger delay because normally it doesn't take that long for you guys to pop on with me. So hopefully you're here. Okay, they're starting to flood in. So hello, Carla. Thank you for being the first to comment. Hello, Mo. Welcome to Paper Pumpkin Night. I'm so glad that you're here with me. I hope everyone's having a great Monday. My weekend was crazy. My Monday was a little crazy too. We're rolling. I wanted to point out, I worked from home today, so I wore my Winnie the Pooh shirt that you're going to get a very cute view of all night. I just bought it at Walmart. It like shouted at me, literally. I mean, it's quite a bold shirt. So I am a huge, huge, huge Winnie the Pooh fan, and I just couldn't pass it up. It's a little bigger than, they only had an extra small or a large, and I would have normally taken a medium or squished into a small, but there's no way an extra small was going to fit me. So I went with the large, and it's more of a comfy, casual shirt. So doing it. I just love it. It makes me happy. So that's what it takes. Good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is. Cheryl, Betty, Lynn, and Bonnie, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited that you're here with me. We have a really fun kit. I took a little peek-see at it. I'm very ill-prepared for the alternative, so that's going to be a joy. Hi, Sandy. We're going to do it. We're going to come up with something. Hi, Dawn. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Hello, Hillary. You love Winnie the Pooh. Yes. I love it. Hi from Virginia. Hello, Cindy. Hello, Patsy. Hello, Barb and Nora, Donna. Oh, my goodness. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm so excited you're all here. Thank you so much for sharing. I always forget to say, we appreciate when you share this with your friends and family so that they can learn the love of crafting as well. So go ahead and share it. You don't know. They probably want to spend their Monday night with me. Maybe, I don't know. So I want to show something off before we get started. You have a stuffed Pooh? Oh my goodness, my stuffed Pooh Bear collection grows and grows and grows and grows and grows. I literally just bought another stuffed Winnie the Pooh with this shirt at Walmart last week. Hi, Joan. Hello, Betty and Sharon. Thank you so much for sharing, Betty, I should say. And Betty too. So on my way over here, I was going to have more time to prepare an alternative, except for, so on Saturday, I had to teach a music class at work, and then I went home to drop the boys off, and then I came back into town to go to the library. They have an idea studio in our library. It is so cool. I knew of it, but I had never actually been in it or done anything in it. And so I went to the idea studio to get badged on their laser engraver with a project in mind for my cousin's wedding. So if they are watching, surprise! But I really doubt that they're going to see this, so I'm not too worried about it. But I had a serving platter, or I don't really know what this thing is called, cutting board maybe, that I wanted to put a logo that I designed on. And I could have put cut vinyl on it and it would have looked fine, but I don't know. I got inspired and I was like, hey, maybe the library has in their idea studio. And they did. And then I learned about the badging and how to use it. And I was just enthralled and in love. So I went and did this on my way over here. It took about 20 minutes. The setup and convincing myself that it was centered. And, you know, I really just wung it because I didn't have time to worry about it. But it turned out so cool. I'm so in love with it. I wish my name was Vermilion and that I could have this. But I love it. So I am just really jazzed up because I love making things, as I'm sure you guys all understand and agree with, usually, likely. So I am just like on cloud 9 right now that it turned out, and then it turned out so great. And I'm so happy. Like, I'm in such a good place right now and so happy to be here with you guys too. We're gonna make some beautiful cards. So yeah, so let's get into it. I hope everyone, I literally opened my paper pumpkin kit. Thank you, Elaine and Hillary. I think it turned out so cool. I can't wait to make something for myself. I should put Winnie the Pooh on something. I probably will. It's probably not like legal because it's copyright, but I won't sell it. I'll just give it to myself. But anyways, yeah, so I related to Buzz Vermilion, yes. So Elaine, Buzz is my uncle, and it is his youngest son is getting married in 2 or 3 weeks. So that is ironic. How do you know Uncle Buzz? He is a character. I love him. Hi, Mom. You just missed the showing off of the board, but I know I sent you a picture of it. So Mom is at home watching my kiddos so that I could go to the library and do that. And then also to do this tonight. And then I'll go home and get them in bed and move on to the next projects I gotta work on. I got a couple hours of work tonight. But anyways, so yeah, so Mom, if you didn't catch, Elaine is saying she knows Buzz, so we're trying to figure out how we are connected. But anyways, so I just peeked into this probably maybe 10 or 12 minutes before I started. Not this one in particular, I should say. I did just open it and you just missed it. I just threw the stuff away. Oh, I'm so glad that you love your stamp, Laura. I know there's a couple of people out there who have sent inquiries about stamps that I'm still getting to, and probably won't get to for a couple months to actually submit. So sorry if you're hanging out there, but oh, that is so cool, Elaine. I've known Buzz for 30 years. Yeah, he's my uncle, and he is a cool cat. He's so nice and so helpful and so kind. So that is awesome. So here are the stamps for today. We'll look at them a little bit more. We also have Melon Mambo is the color. For those of you somewhat new to Paper Pumpkin, you get a new color every month. 1 month of the year, typically they give 2 colors. This month is Melon Mambo, and that means for the next 12 months, you will not get Melon Mambo again. So it's a cool way to build up your ink collection. And then here's an advertisement for next month, celebrating In Color, with a preview of the new In Colors. They are gorgeous. The last 2 or 3 times, I was blown away by the colors right off the bat. Prior to that, it's taken a little growing on me. But yeah, they're really great. Parakeet Party, Sweet Sorbet, Starry Sky, I think, Tahitian Tide, and Orchid Oasis. I don't know how to say it. It's that flower, the purple one. And all subscribers to the May 2020 pumpkin have a chance to win a golden voucher, which will be worth $25 worth of Stampin' Up! Products, which is cool. Hello, Becky. Thank you for tuning in. So that's neat. Keep that in mind if you're looking to subscribe next month. It's going to be themed about the In Colors and give you a shot at some freebies. So this kit is going to be a lesson in science as well, and that's kind of some of what I was diving into more than the stamps itself. So, whew. Okay, so our stamps. We have a butterfly, a caterpillar, and a little butterfly. Hello, Elizabeth. A bunch of sentiments, and then some graphic hearty things. So every day is a new day. I'm so proud of who you've become. Beautiful things take time. I believe in you. May this new season hold wonderful new experiences. So very cool. Love the stamps. Let's open this bad guy. And then this kit is, I think, 3 each of 3 designs. Let's see here. Yeah, I think it's 9 cards total. So these are some kind of, thank you so much for sharing, some pretty special cards. They're like somewhat of a fun fold kind of thing. And they're fully printed. Hello, Sherry. Thank you so much for sharing, Bonnie. Okay, so I'm just trying to get myself situated. Oh, I forgot. See, you guys, I'm going to be a little bit of a scatterbrain, I think. We'll see here. I'm going to grab this, and I need melon mambo. So, for those of you that have not tuned in before, I usually use my own block and my own pad. Not that the supplies that you get with aren't high R list, aren't good, or aren't worthy of using, but I like to stamp on a larger surface than a smaller surface. And the block that comes with Paper Pumpkin doesn't have the rounded edges, which is not really that big of a deal. But for my own comfort and security in my own crafting space, I usually just use my own block. But for those of you that are building up your crafting supply or have never done Paper Pumpkin before, you can rest assured that you get everything you need. So that's really cool. Okay, we've got some die cuts. We've got this card base, and then 2 fun fold card bases, fully printed, so holy shnikes, we've got some pretty cards. Laura said she completely remade her cards, except for the cloud one. Couldn't come up with something for the cloud one. Well, that is the one I am going to do differently, so stay tuned. You might like what you see. Or maybe you won't. That's okay too. We'll see. I'm very up in the air about it right now because I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. As always, the envelopes are printed and beautiful. They're fully printed on the inside. I likely am going to use these as DSP. Not necessarily for the alternative because I have something else in mind. But these are very beautiful works of art in themselves that if you've ever tuned in to me before, I almost always tell you that I personally find beautiful printed envelopes to be a waste because I feel like envelopes always end up in the garbage, so I like to put them to better use. So, all right, lots of pretty pictures in here to show off what die cuts and stamps and stuff go to each one. So we're gonna start with stamping. So let's start with the black card. We are going to take Beautiful Things Take Time, goes on the banner. So Chris's tip, so this is 3 sheets here, is to punch out all 3 sheets at the same time. Saves a little time for you. And I think I'm just going to punch everything out right now. So, by a show of likes and loves and comments, who is a Paper Pumpkin subscriber or who has this kit? And or who's doing this along with me tonight? Yeah, I love cutting up the envelopes. I think it just gives so much more mileage to the Paper Pumpkin kit because typically you can get at least 1 additional card out of the envelopes. And the designs are always so beautiful that it just really kills me to use them for envelopes' sake. Now that's not really, I mean, that's just my personal preference. So, ooh, Elizabeth is going to be doing them with us tonight. Latokia and Laura are subscribers. That is awesome. Very cool. Doing this along with you from Canada. Awesome, Jeanette. I'm so glad to have you. And then we've got a star in the bottom. Carla's a subscriber as well. Wonderful. Haven't opened yours yet, Latokia. Well, at least now you get a good glimpse into what you can expect. And hopefully you'll be inspired to crack yours open. Okay, so that's all of the die cuts. Sharon's gonna make it along with me tonight. Cindy has hers but isn't doing it, and Doris is a subscriber but hasn't put hers together yet. Okay, so let's get started here with stamping on the inside. Ooh, Jewel gets 2 paper pumpkins each month. There are some months that I really wish I did that. So usually I try to keep pretty savvy to the kits that they have, the refill kits. You don't always get refill kits, but sometimes when there are refill kits available, I go ahead and snatch them up so that I have some extras. Okay, so I want to make sure that I am stamping this correctly. So it appears as though we have the card open this way, and the stamping, which you can obviously stamp whatever you want. This is just their suggestion as to how to fill the inside. So we put this beautiful little like flowery heart set up in the bottom left corner. And then I'm going to grab my stamp cleaner. And then, watching for alternatives. Pressure's on. Woo! Okay. Oh, hello from Australia. Thank you so much for joining. Oh, Luann's also watching for alternatives. Very cool. That's a great idea, Latokia. Seeing alternative ideas before you do yours so you know whether you want to actually put your kit together according to the instructions or do something different. Very smart. Okay, so then I believe in you is the sentiment for the inside. I'm going to stamp it up towards the top a little bit more so there's room to write. Beautiful. And then we're going to grab one of these banners and the stamp that says beautiful things take time. Then we'll be done with stamping for this card and we can move on to the next. I love the color scheme here. And on the, okay, which one says? They're hard to read backwards and upside down and all around, so sorry about that. On the back of the instruction pamphlet, it tells you what colors are used in the kit so that you can find coordinating things for your alternatives or for any reason. Obviously you know what color the ink is because they sent you the spot, but sometimes I struggle with the blues and tealy colors. So in this kit we've got Balmy Blue, Basic Black, Bermuda Bay, so this is Bermuda Bay here, Crushed Curry, Evening Evergreen, Granny Apple Green, and Melon Mambo. So very cool. I've been getting into the summery state of mind, so I'm starting to utilize some of the bright, cheery colors more. Okay, so stamping is done. Let's move on to step 2, where I think we're just folding on the score lines. Okay, so flip your card base over and then fold, oopsies, back and forth and back again, it appears. So this is what it looks like. I'm going to bring in my bone folder here. Thanks for joining, Randy. Not really too late. You haven't missed out on anything. Okay, so I'm going to use my bone folder to burnish the ends and give it a nice crisp fold. Then we're going to bring in we're going to close our ink pad. You know, that's a smart idea. That's how craft accidents happen. Craftastrophes. All right, then we're going to bring in our dimensionals and go ahead Dimensionals, where did I put the ones from the kit? Well, I already happened to misplace them, so I'm going to use ones from my own stash to do this. And then, so we're gonna grab a big flower. We've got our banner. We have one of the large flowers, two of the small flowers, two or three? Two. And then our banner's already down there. So that's what we need here. Now we're basically just going to stick everything on, and the diagram shows where they suggest placing the adhesives. And you see down here, one of the dimensionals gets cut in half for the bitty baby flowers. So very cool that they give all that direction there. It's so helpful. Okay, then throw a couple on the flower. Okay, and then we've got the medium-sized flower and the two small. That's okay, Laura. Flowers, I'm sure. So if anyone has theirs done, go ahead and share them in the comments. We'd love to see them. But I'm sure the cards still turned out beautiful. So now we're going to go ahead and stick down our banner. So upper left for the banner. Going to place it about a 1/2 inch down and a 1/2 inch in. Then we've got our giant flower, our pink flower, I should say. Gotta get all those dimensional backs off. Which is going to, so you see here, we've got the stem that leads to nowhere. So that's the stem for this flower. So plop your large flower on top of that stem, and then we'll go ahead and put the yellow flowers to kind of make it like a bouquet. It's really cool how they nestled these all together here. Oh, Loretta, I'm so glad you're watching. Paper Pumpkin is so much fun. I'm hooked, for sure. If you have any questions about what Paper Pumpkin is, or how I'm kind of following through the kit and the instructions, just let us know. We're more than happy to teach you more about it. But I surely am a huge fan of Paper Pumpkin. It's one of my favorite things. I have a lot of irons on my fire, so I usually don't have all that much time to be super creative, so it gives me an opportunity to make beautiful things, even when I sometimes don't have real much time. So I've been a Paper Pumpkin subscriber for probably 5 years now, maybe 6 or 7. I think I started before I met my husband, so it's been like 7 or 8 years. I guess it goes really fast. So in the picture here, they show the embellishments. So these embellishments are so pretty. You can see they're really iridescent, and I like the irregular shape to them. And then they show on the diagram here that there's 3 of them with a dotted arrow to them being kind of like at the base of the plant. So another thing that I really love about Paper Pumpkin is it's so well guided. I can make beautiful things without having to kind of feel lost in Neverland. So I feel like I struggle with details like so little as embellishment placement. Sometimes get me all like in a tizzy because I don't know, well, is that where it should go or should I put it somewhere else? So when they literally show you where to put it, I feel like I'm doing it right. And that's really silly because there really is no right or wrong answer. But look we made a beautiful card and it was so easy and it's so beautiful. And another thing that, you know, I always keep in mind when making Paper Pumpkin. So when we do this class, we always show you how to make the cards as instructed in the box. So you can expect that you can make all of your cards exactly like this because you have all the supplies, all of the stamps and colors and everything. But then you can also take the creative liberty to make it your own. So like if this isn't really doing it for you, you can use the pieces for something else, or you can use a different stamp, or, you know, really make it your own. So there's a lot of ways to make it truly a work of art that you can be proud of and that you can put in an envelope and send to make someone's day. So here's the first card. So we're going to set that off to the side because we are done with card number 1. And we're going to move on to our butterfly card. So this is when I started and said that I kind of had myself a little science lesson before I jumped on here. I saw this card and was trying to learn enough to sound educated about the life cycle of a butterfly. And so I'm going to bring the card base in, and we are going to go ahead and do the stamping. Everyone is giving so much love to Paper Pumpkin. I'm digging it. Okay, so we've got, I am so proud of who you've become is going to go in this cloud. We have, may this new season hold wonderful new experiences. And then a cutesy little butterfly flying as well. So let's get some stamping done. And then I'll teach you everything I know about butterflies, which is not a lot. Okay, so I am so proud of who you've become. Gets stamped centered in this cloud. Then we'll go ahead and clean off this stamp. I have learned to get into the practice of cleaning and putting your stamps away as you use them. There have been too many times that I have lost a stamp because I got stuck to something. So I'm just going to pass on that little nugget of knowledge for anyone so that they may not suffer the same fate that I have in the past. You just never know. I love photopolymer stamps, but they really stick to almost anything. And after you've spent 45 minutes looking for a stamp that you're convinced is gone for good, you'll find it on the bottom of your paper cutter or stuck to your stamp set or just anywhere. It's crazy where they walk off to. So,
The ribbons?
oh yeah, stuck to a ribbon spool. It sounds like I've done that before. You know, you always try to fix your mistakes before they get discovered, but there have been times where I'm like, Chris, you know, I've spent 45 minutes looking for this and it's either gone or it's going to show up in the next couple of days and I'm not going to keep spinning my wheels. And then they do. They always show up. I just ordered a new pair of glasses. This is a funny story. And in my Facebook memories, I got a reminder of where I was last year at this time. It was a couple weeks ago now, but I had a Facebook status. I had just picked up my new glasses that were 2 days old, and I am very dependent on my glasses. I have very poor eyesight, and I don't have contacts, so, you know, I always wear glasses. And I had just bought new glasses, and they were expensive. I have vision insurance, but they were still over $200 or whatever, and then all of a sudden, they're missing. I had taken them off, put them on the end table. I don't remember for what reason. It was, you know, just a little short-term thing. And my then just over 1-year-old walked away with them. You can imagine how fun it is to try to find glasses when you can't see. So, okay, little quick interlude to our story here. I am folding and scoring with our bone folder on the score lines. So this is how the card is going to look. Now, either mine is not folded at exactly the same place as theirs is, or my stamp is not quite in the exact same space that theirs is. So, if you are stamping along with me and haven't yet stamped, it appears as though you want to justify the stamp as far to left in the cloud as possible. So when you fold it, you don't get half of an M and E hanging out. Not the biggest deal, just a tip for you. Do as I say, not as I do. Okay, so then that's folded. Now we're gonna stick it up with a caterpillar and a butterfly. So anyways, he walked off with my glasses, and I looked and I looked and I looked and I looked. And I even called my mom over, because when you can't see, it's really hard to find something. So my mom came over, tried to help me find them. In the meantime, I found my old glasses, so at least I could kind of see. And then we had looked everywhere, and I was like, okay, well, I guess we're gonna call that a loss for now, because I'm still not gonna keep turning my wheels looking for something and not finding it. And I was so disappointed, because I was so happy with my new glasses, and the prescription was quite a bit stronger than my old ones, and I was just so frustrated. So I made a Facebook status that said, when you've lost something, always look in the garbage. Not because it's in the garbage, because it's never in the garbage, but when you're desperate enough to look in the garbage, lo and behold, you always find it, like, shortly thereafter. Because, not gonna lie, it's not the first time that that's happened to me, where I've finally been like, all right, it must be in the garbage. There's nowhere else it could be, but it's gotta be in the garbage. And literally 5 minutes later, I found it. They were in the recliner. When you arch the recliner back, it, like, makes a, like, the fabric kind of loops and creates a hole that when you put the chair back up, it closes back up. Yeah, they were in there. I don't know. I don't remember how I found them, but I did. And just like, oh my gosh, my crazy, crazy child. And he has been such a joy since. He is my wild man. All right, so you went ahead and put the butterfly and the caterpillar. Then again, just like the last one, hello, Penny. Thank you so much for joining. We've got 3 rhinestones over here, and they're going at the base of the caterpillar. So 1, 2, and 3. And then I love, I just had a suggestion here from Cindy to put a flower over so that it covers up that little hangover, which is great. And I'm literally going to do that, because it's not that big of a deal, but you can definitely see that. So I'm just gonna put a flower, and then there will be nothing to see. So yeah, so I was thinking about this card, because in just a second you'll see what I'm talking about. But so I saw this beautiful card, and I thought, okay, so we've got a caterpillar, but I wasn't positive that that was a caterpillar. Science has been, you know, a hot minute since I've been in school and learned about these things. And then you open it up to a chrysalis that then turns into a butterfly. So this is really cool, because you start with the I am so proud of who you've become, and it's the whole life cycle of a butterfly here. And then may this new season hold wonderful new experiences. So it's like a really cool sentiment and all that stuff. But I was like, is that really a caterpillar? And what really is a chrysalis? Like, I feel like I've heard that word before, and I think I'm using it in the right context, but good old Google had to help me out. So it in fact goes from a caterpillar, who then kind of balls himself up into a chrysalis, stays in there for a couple of weeks, and then emerges as a beautiful butterfly. So there's your Science 101 on the life cycle of a butterfly, taught to you by the one and only Miss Kelly. So, sentiment on the back, and then we've got our second card all done already. Can't believe how easily these are coming together, and they're just so pretty. I love the bright, cheery colors. It's perfect for the changing of the seasons. So we're going to bring in our last card base, which is this beautiful black card base. We have, let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and fold it over. And then, so cool, you punch out the moon And the stars, let's see here. Oh, there's a bunch of stars here. So let's punch all those out. I have little confetti all over the desk. Okay. This is like, I don't know. I think this one's going to be my favorite. Obviously haven't made it yet, but I really like this concept. So this is, the other two were kind of like fun folds. This one's just a standard fold, but with the die cuts out of the front here, when you fold it, it basically gets illuminated with the imagery on the inside, because this one has a beautiful full printed inside. So we've got the sun on the inside is what colors the moon when you close it, and then the sky makes the stars blue when you close the card. So absolutely, you could definitely keep the moon and star little confetti for either for on this card or for on a different card. You can use it as black, or flip it over to the white and use white, or use like a blending brush to turn it yellow or whatever color you want. So we need to go ahead and stamp. Every day is a new day. Goes on this cloud on the bottom. Yeah, it is a pretty unusual paper pumpkin. I love that they're doing all these fun folds and kind of unique features. Very cool. I am a fan for sure. Okay, so go ahead and stamp on the cloud. Okay. Then that does it for the stamping. Oopsies. Get that bad boy cleaned up. And then for embellishments, ooh, we've got beautiful clouds. Well, kind of not pretty clouds. They're all stormy looking, but it's okay. And then a star. So we need some dimensionals here. 1.5 per cloud, and then half on the back of the star. And I think, okay, so on the flyer, it shows to keep the dimensionals towards the thinner side of the cloud. And I think it's because you don't want to have any adhesive where the moon is, because the moon is a cutout, and then you don't want your outside to stick to your inside. So keep that in mind as you are getting your dimensionals prepped. I don't know where I put the dimensionals from this kit, so I can't speak to whether they have large or small dimensionals in the kit, but I am using small dimensionals. So I'm going to go ahead and just use full dimensionals because they are the small ones. I think I'm going to be able to make them fit. So even a full-size mini dimensional fits on the back of that star. So the star goes at the end of the shooting star trail. So way up top here. And then the clouds go. Oh, Luann, I love it. I haven't even pulled Stella out. Let's put large dimensionals in the kit. Okay, so that's why I've kind of been doing my own thing with the dimensionals, and they have been fitting fine, but I have mini dimensionals at my desk, so that is why. So they placed the clouds so that it's just a little bit overhanging the moon. I really like how that looks. So, and just as Luann was saying, I'm definitely going to bring Stella in and put a little shimmer on these clouds. I think that's going to really liven it up. And then I think I'm going to put some Stella on the shooting star trail as well. So let's do it. And then we also have our embellishments yet. So we're really gonna give this card some. Sorry, I dripped a little Stella in my hand, so I'm definitely salvaging it.
Oh, I just refilled them with rubbing alcohol.
Yes, I thought so. Chris said that she just refilled them with rubbing alcohol, so sometimes they get a little thin and comes out a little easier. So she
all of them are like that now.
She just splooshed out on me a little bit. So, but nothing that we couldn't salvage with our hands. Okay, so after the Stella, then we're gonna grab some of the embellishments, and we've got 3 down the trail of the shooting star, which is so clever. I love it. So each of these cards, I think it is so cool that the embellishments are so used like so carefree. I mean, they're not really, they're just very organic. I don't know, and I really love it. So it's not something I normally am used to. So I'm very inspired by this kit, I think is what I'm trying to say. Hi, Deb. Thank you so much for tuning in. So now that the cards are done, which seems crazy, these were so simple, so easy, and I love each and every one of them so much. Let's bring them all together, and then let's inspire me to to knock this alternative out of the park, because I'm a little leery right now. And let's see here. Now that we've got Stella on the mind, let's put some Stella on the butterfly. And then Stella on the flower as well. And you know, I don't think I kind of walked through the first card when it was done. Each of the cards seems to have a like evolution type theme. So the butterfly one was how the caterpillar turned into a butterfly. And the first one that we did was the bud blooming into a flower. So that's really cool too. I really like what they did here. They are so beautiful, and I think what's really drawing me into them, and I know I've said this already, is the beautiful bright color scheme. And it's kind of very contrasty with the dark black in 2 of the cards, so it's very vibrant and jumps out at me. Okay, so I'm just going to Stella up this whole flower here. Which is just one more little thing to make it all the more beautiful. Oh, so cool. Okay, so here they are. Does anyone want to share with me what their favorite is? I think my favorite is the moon one. I actually like them all. Sometimes that's definitely not the case. But I like them all, but I think I would lean towards the moon and star one. So I'm curious to see what you all think too. So let me clear up my space while you guys are chiming in. Hi, Judy. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, so I'm going to get some of this stuff out of the way. And then the moon. Yay. The first one, it's hard to pick. The flower one, the moon. Okay, so the moon is getting the most love, but each of them has gotten at least a vote. The moon, I like the moon. The moon, followed by the flower, with the butterfly one trailing in third, but still catching some love. Okay, the butterfly, yeah. Love the flower one. I really love the concept of all of them, and I can't remember who said it earlier, I do love what they did this month with the unique cards. It's really cool. Okay, so I'm going to set these off to the side here as inspiration as I move through my alternative, which is going to be inspired by the moon card, of course. So I'm probably going to put these 2 over here. And maybe, let's see here. I'll have one of each of these to spare. So we'll see if I pull that in. And grab a couple embellishments. Need to grab an extra card base. Now, I should also show you. Okay, so I'm going to move all of those pieces off to the side. The envelopes that coordinate here. So we've got the blue and green one goes with the moon card. The yellow and the stars go with the flower card. And then the pink one is for the butterfly. However, you can obviously use whatever you want. I definitely would be using the yellow one with the moon and star. I think that corresponds almost too perfectly to not. But beautiful envelopes as always. Okay. Now, let's... I keep dropping some of the stars, and I'm not convinced I'm not going to use them, so I need to pick them up. Okay. So I definitely am a kind of like frugal person, and when I see paper pumpkin kits, one of the things that I always do is use the envelopes for a higher purpose. But when I see a card, like there's so much usable space on these cards. So, you know, obviously you could break this up into probably 4 panels and get a couple cards out of it, and then it's fully printed on the back as well. So like if this bud isn't doing it for you, you could use this back side of the panel and have this Bermuda Bay kind of polka dot pattern. So I could easily see utilizing these cards to make multiple cards to get more bang for your buck. So with that in mind, I'm going to cut this card into 2 separate pieces and make 2 cards out of it, with the inspiration that potentially, if you like these ideas, instead of getting 9 cards out of your kit, if you cut them into panels, you can likely get 18 cards, and even more if you end up cutting up the envelopes like I proposed. So that's usually the philosophy that I use when bye Judy, thanks for tuning in, when I think about my alternatives. So let's go ahead and start first by punching out all of these stars. What I found was easiest was to punch from the white side, because they show up better than from the black side. It's a lot harder to see them. So that's just a little tip, so you don't struggle in punching out, because there's a bunch of stars on here and there's got to be at least 10 of them. Okay, so then, as to guide myself in moving forward, I'm going to go ahead and cut it in half right away. No regrets. No turning back. I need a paper cutter.
Oh, there's one right to your left.
Huh, there it is. I can't see what's in front of my own 2 eyes half the time. Okay. So we're just going to cut down the score line so that I have a better idea of what I'm working with. So this now becomes 5.5 by 4.25. I'm likely going to cut it down a little more because I'm thinking I'm going to have this be a matte size. So right off the bat, you get to choose whether you want the sunshiny cloudy side or the starry sky side. So I'm going to go ahead and make a sunny and a moon darkness. I don't know. Words are difficult. So I was thinking about what color I should matte behind. And the first one that I grabbed was So Saffron. But I guess it kind of depends what your purpose is for the card. Like I could see this if it's like a baby card, maybe going with So Saffron. I also grabbed Daffodil Delight, which looks nice. But then I'm looking to see here, where's the back of this thing? Here we go. All right, so we've got Crushed Curry is the corresponding color. So that must be the yellow that would be like the sun per se. So let's grab a sheet of that and see what that looks like. Maybe. Crushed curry, there it is. Ooh, yeah. I do think I like that the best. Definitely feel baby vibes here, which is fine. Definitely would be choosing a different sentiment though. When I do alternatives, due to the fact that I don't know what you all have in your stamping arsenal, I usually try to just use the stamps, the ink, and then the card pieces with bringing in maybe some ribbons or some other things, but limited other things so that you can jump right in and likely make it without any additional things to purchase. So let's go ahead, cut this down. I don't know that I have ever in my years of stamping used crushed curry as a card base. This is very bright. I'm going to definitely go ahead and put a basic white matte on the inside because that is an extremely overpowering color for a card base. But I have faith that it will turn out good. So let's go ahead and grab some basic white and matte it for the inside. I'm going to grab basic black as well. I'm going to do a double matte on the inside because I want to get a little bit more depth. Basic black. All right, so the basic black is going to be the larger matte. So we're going to do 4 by 5 1/4. Balmy blue for a blue moon. Ooh, I like it. See, thinking outside the box. Okay, and then our basic white layer is going to be 3 3/4 by 5. That was a weird cut, my bad. Okay, so now I have the mattes for the inside. Because why wouldn't you start with the inside, right? But I really like how that black really frames in the card and cuts down on the aggressive crushed curry. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do on the inside. Now for the outside, I'm going to trim this down. Probably because of how far out the stars come, I'm probably gonna take 1/8 of an inch off of each side instead of 1/4 of an inch off of 2 of the sides, just so that the stars stay as centered as possible. So 5 3/8. Laura did balmy blue with a crushed curry circle behind the moon. Brilliant. I bet you that turned out really nice. If you have a picture of it, I would love for you to share that. You should have sent it my way, and then I wouldn't have had to research some alternatives. But I'm actually really excited. I don't know exactly at all how this is going to turn out, but I have faith that it's going to be cool, I think. Okay, so here is our mat for the outside. Now, I intend to put dimensionals behind the whole thing. And then, okay, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to cut, where's my glue scissor? Okay, just because of the amount of surface area that I'm trying to hold up, I'm going to use the edge here. And then I'm also going to put just a few by the moon to help hold those pieces up in the middle. Chris is hard at work behind me. I don't know if you're hearing any cutting and punching and stuff like that. So I've been doing Paper Pumpkin Night for, I don't know.
Last year.
Really?
Both of them to Hawaii.
Oh my goodness. So it's been maybe about a year. I think there might have been 1 or 2 in there that I missed, but
I
no,
don't think I've done one since.
maybe not. Wow, time flies when you're having fun. I really enjoy it. Exactly. So I remember after I did my first or second, it's kind of like this is my substitute teaching role. And when Chris is gone, you know, she's got her audience that is used to tuning into her on a Thursday night. So when she's gone on vacation or, you know, was gone for work or something like that, I would fill in on the Thursday night. But I don't really know how to run her card classes. You know, I didn't design the cards. I don't know the background behind it. I'm not as much of a pro stamper as she is. So it's easy to fill in something like Mystery Night or Paper Pumpkin. So those are typically the things that I take the helm on. And so when she was on the Hawaii incentive trip last year, it sounds like, was when I started. And I remember talking to her after it and saying, I really loved that. That was a lot of fun. I don't know how I'll figure out, you know, coordinating the kids and my work schedule and stuff like that, but I wouldn't mind doing that. And that's how it's been ever since. So it's been fun. So thank you for continuing to tune in for Paper Pumpkin Night. I really do appreciate it, and I really do have fun with you guys. So, you know what would have been really smart would be to put down some Stella before I put the dimensionals down, you know? Wouldn't that have been smart? So we're going to just throw some Stella behind here very strategically, hoping that, so yeah, I was going to say that was very juicy. So that one maybe is going to bleed through a little, but that's okay. These homemade creations we make, I try not to get too worked up in all the little details because they're homemade, so they're prone to be imperfect. And the guy at the library, when I was making my cutting board that I showed off at the beginning, I think was just thrown by my like laissez-faire attitude. He's like, well, you know, you can always test to see if it's centered or test it on this wood. I'm like, I ain't got time for that. This looks pretty close to centered, and if it's not, it's handmade, and they're gonna like it anyways, so we're gonna let it rip. So sometimes I try to be a little more careful or a little less carefree, but I'm living life by the seat of my pants, so. Now, I'm guessing you cannot quite see what I'm seeing in front of me, and when I'm done, I'll bring it up to the camera. But I'm putting Stella in all of the stars and the moon, which is adding a really, really nice subtle detail. And because we put the dimensionals behind it, it really is not difficult because the sheet is lifted up, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch or whatever the height of the dimensionals are. So you can easily tuck your Stella brush into there and not worry about making too much of a mess. Now, Chris did say she did just refresh her Stella. If that sounds like foreign language to you, I did a Tip Tuesday on re-inking or refreshing your Stella so that you can get more mileage out of her. Probably a good 1.5 years, if not more ago. So just search Stella or refreshing your Stella, and it'll come up in the Cards by Christine page. So again, I have no clue if this is going to come across to you, but there is Stella in every single one of those stars and moon. I think we just caught it just a little bit there on the moon. Oh, so pretty. I love it. Then we are also going to, thank you so much for sharing, Ethel. I'm glad you could tune in with us. Okay, we're also going to put 1 star with Stella on this shooting star up top. Definitely a good idea that we went with the crushed curry, because in retrospect, having this star on there with a different color would have looked probably pretty silly. So that's there, and then just like the other card, I am going to put the embellishments down the shooting star tail, because I really like how that turned out. Okay, so then we've got our little stormy clouds. I honestly think I'm basically just creating this card like the card from the kit, and not even feeling too bad about it, because my goal here was to basically pull the front of this card off of this card to free up the inside to make another card. And I do have a really good idea in mind for this. So I promise my creativity is going to come out soon, because right now I'm sure you're thinking, all right, I just watched you make this card and you're making it again. And on this card, I am going to use the clouds flipped over. I have no aversion to the gray on them, but the back is just white, and I like that a little better. So, just with the card that we just made, we're going to put the dimensionals to the skinny side of the cloud so that it doesn't carry over onto the moon. A little less important this time, because this time the moon isn't the inside of the card, but still you don't want it to get, especially if you mail it, you don't want it to get stuck like that. Ah! Okay, so I did one of them right. Don't talk and craft at the same time. It's bound to make mistakes. Just kidding. Okay, so that one came off. I'm just going to pitch that one. So, in my desire to make these clouds white instead of gray, I need to put the dimensionals on the gray side. That would be mighty helpful. I have a couple baby showers coming up, so I think with my personal kit, I am going to make them like this. And what I'm going to do, find an appropriate sentiment, but then I think what I'm going to do is put it on the that light yellow. So saffron. I think I'm going to put it on the so saffron, and then flip that star over and use the blending brush to make the star so saffron. Just a little softer for a baby shower. Okay, I'm just sneaking a couple extra little dimensionals behind the clouds so that they stay put. And then there's the front of that card. I don't have a sentiment on it, and I like it that way. I like how pretty it is without it. And I think the clouds are quite stark. I don't dislike them being stark, and I'm running the risk of being a little Stella happy, but I think I'm gonna Stella the clouds too. We'll see. I might regret it, but we'll decide. I guess I should also say, Stella is quite subtle to begin with, so I don't think it's gonna like break the card if it's just a little too much. So, Luann said she just got a package of shaker shapes, 40% off in the last chance sale. Lots of stars in there to put on these cards. That is a great idea, Luann. That is a really great idea. Okay, so here's the front of that card. Now on the inside, again, I typically try to use the sentiments that come in the kit. And none of them are really speaking to me with what this card looks like as it is. The original card had every day is a new day, which I completely understand in the shifting from the outside of the card being night to then opening and a new day. But now that we took these two pieces apart, doesn't quite have the same meaning. So I am not going to use that. And I'm thinking may this new season hold wonderful new experiences. I believe in you. I honestly think I am not going to stamp on the inside of this one because I don't find the right stamp, and I really always try to use the stamp, so I do apologize. I didn't really think ahead on that, but I think I'm going to try to find something from a different stamp set to stamp on the inside. But essentially I would glue the mats together, which I'm not going to do yet because you always have an opportunity to stamp again if you mess up on this, and then stamp this to the inside of the card. So that is alternative number 1. But as promised, I am also going to make an alternative out of this piece, and I'm going to use the sunny side for a way to get more mileage out of your kit. So this is going to be my mat on the front, and again I'm going to take 1/8 of an inch off each side so the sun remains centered. And I am undecided yet as to what color I want the card base to be. Right off the bat, I'm kind of thinking balmy blue or thick white. So we'll see as this kind of comes together what seems to be the natural fit. Now, I am going to use, I think, I'm not positive, but I think I'm going to use the rainbows in conjunction with this. I am really a fan of the rainbow set, and this sun and cloud is just too beautiful not to throw a rainbow with, I'm thinking. So we'll see if that is what I end up doing. I also wanted to point out that, just trying to find myself some table space. On the back of the flyer, so I already mentioned that on the back of the flyer in the bottom left-hand corner, they tell you the coordinating colors, but then they also have a couple, usually 2 or 3 samples of alternatives to do, and then there are many other alternative ideas that exist in the world of social media. But here they use the rainbow dies, and it appears as though they used the envelopes to die cut the rainbows here. I really love this, and I'm guessing they took the back of the card. So, yep, if you turn it this way, this is exactly what they did here. They used this as the card front, and then they used all of these flaps or pieces. So they got the melon mambo out of this envelope. Then they got the crushed curry out of this envelope. Then if you take this envelope and strategically open it, if you cut from the right side, you get the green, and cut from the left side, you get the blue. So that's where they got the 4 colors there. And I really love that alternative. So that is probably another thing that I'm going to do with my own personal kit. But because it's already there for you, I'm not going to go ahead and make that. And because that wasn't on my radar. Okay, so I am pulling in, oh, where did I put the rainbows? Oh, here they are. So the only prep that I did for this was I pulled in the rainbow stamp set, because when I kind of was putting this in my mind, I figured a rainbow on here would look super cute. So I'm just gonna buy myself a little bit more room. So 1 second here. All right, so not positive exactly how I want to pull this together. I'm thinking of putting it over here, sending you a rainbow of happiness. I like that. And then, let's see here, is this, what size is this? Is this the smallest one or the next one? I did a technique card with this rainbow set. I can't remember what the technique was, to be honest with you, but gave some tips on how to best stamp these rainbows. So if you love the rainbows, which I do, You might want to go check that out. So that's my little layer, my rough layout that I'm going to go with. Ooh, or the kite stamps. You are so right, Jennifer. This would be a great set, a great alternative would be with the kites. I haven't used that.
I don't think I own
Huh? Chris doesn't own it, so that's why I haven't used it. Because I definitely don't own it. I'm the type of person that gets around to using my stamps like 3 years after they're out of the catalog. So that's some insight into my life. Okay, so I'm going to go with the 4 different layers of the rainbow. The other thing I was thinking about was I could start it with this Sending You a Rainbow of Happiness as the biggest one, but okay. Nope, going with it. Red, yellow, green, blue. Should I put the purple in there? All right, let's see here. Purple, green, blue. So I want to do the Melon Mambo for the biggest stripe. Let's do that. Then Sending You a Rainbow of Happiness, I should maybe do in black or gray. So red, yellow. Oh, then this should be crushed curry. And then this one I'll do maybe in blue or green or purple. I think I'm going to do blue. So let me get black and Pacific Point. And I think I'm going to do basic gray so it's not quite so stark. So let's see. This is going to be a little bit of a wing in it. Actually, that is what an alternative card typically means in my eyes. So let's go ahead. Now, I made that I made that technique video several weeks ago now. So I don't exactly remember how I used this rainbow set, but I do remember that I started with the inside first. That was the easiest way to line them up. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with the blue for the inside. This is a solid stamp, so you definitely want to kind of peek through it and make sure it looks like you've got full coverage on there. Okay, and then put it roughly in the middle. You want your paper to definitely be big enough because you're growing out and you may be a little off center. So you don't want it to be crimping your page by being too small. So let's stamp the blue. Next I have yellow. So crushed curry. Okay. Okay. I really love that the crushed curry is this stripy stamp, which is so cool because it kind of looks like sun rays. And then my technique, or my tip I should say, in using this rainbow stamp set is to lay your photopolymer down, nested up to the stamp that you're nestling it into, so that you can, photopolymer stamps have a little bit of give, so that you can make sure that it isn't being distorted. Then pick it up with your block and take it into your stamp pad and then put it back down. Whoa. Getting a little crazy over here. Oh, I love it. I am so big into rainbows right now. They just are so bright and cheerful and happy. You know how when you get a new catalog, there's always like at least 1 or 2 bundles that just really speak to you, and they're the ones that you know right off the bat that you're gonna get and put it on your first order. That for me was the rainbows. Granted, I just got them like a month ago or a couple weeks ago. Oh, okay, last week. So I did. But I will say it is the first thing that I've gotten from the catalog. Remember when I said I first used my stamps like 3 years after they're out of a catalog? I wasn't kidding. Do you have Memento over there somewhere?
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna do the gray, but I'm really having second thoughts on here, so I'm definitely gonna grab Memento here. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Chris gets to be my little runner today. It's a, like, changing of roles here. Okay, so this says sending you a rainbow of happiness. Okay. Oh, I love it. You guys, this is just, I'm so happy with this, and it's not even done yet, and I hope it turns out as good as it's coming together in my head, and if not, I'm still gonna love it because I'm just so obsessed with these rainbows. Okay, and then we're going to top it off with our Melon Mambo. This one has the most wiggle, so this one you definitely want to put down ahead of time and really straighten it up as best as you can. Oh, and this block is not big enough. We need a bigger block. Okay. Moving up to the E block. Okay. Get that nice and inked. This is just such a pretty pink color. Nice, firm, even pressure. Now you have to fussy cut this. You are right, Laura. Oh, joyful. So, if I were to do this again, I'd be a little more strategic about how I placed the sending you a rainbow of happiness. I had it a little too tight to the yellow layer, which makes it look a little too far away from the pink. But all in all, it's good enough. Definitely not worth redoing. That's my thoughts on that. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and put all the stamps back. While there's a lot of ink in the full coverage, the pink and blue, so I definitely, especially because I'm fussy cutting, I don't want to be handling it too early before it gets an opportunity to kind of really dry onto that paper. Okay, let's get that out of our way. And then okay. So now I think we'll be done with that. Okay, so we've got our card base is TBD. Our little rainbow of happiness is going to be over here. And then I'm still thinking we might be looking at like a balmy blue for our card base. I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut while I think about it. I remember when I did that technique card that I fussy cut one of these rainbows, and for it being a really easy image to fussy cut, it still wasn't fun. I used to enjoy fussy cutting, and I think I just have too many things on my brain now that it's not even relaxing because I'm thinking about the next 4 things that I'm trying to get accomplished. And I want it to be perfect, but fussy cutting rarely is perfect, which is fine. It's part of that homemade beauty that I was talking about before. But for all those reasons, fussy cutting just isn't my favorite thing to do. But that being said, in an instance like this, it still definitely holds value to be able to fussy cut it out. And, you know, when an image like this rainbow, being like a semicircle, if you cut it out in a square, there would just be so much void white space that you definitely need to fussy cut it out. Right. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Just had to rant a little. Okay, so I'm thinking this is gonna go down here. It's definitely gonna be on dimensionals. I'm thinking about maybe supplementing it with some ribbon. Oh, man, it's so nice already. Let's see here. A pink base or matte would really pull in the rainbow. That's a great suggestion because we've got the blue in the sky, the yellow in the sun, and pulling in some of that pink is not a bad idea. That would go right in line with the other half of the card where I went with a very aggressive card base. Melon Mambo. Do we dare? Do we dare? That is bright. That is aggressive. All right, what other toned down pinks could we do? You know, I don't know that a toned down pink would really work though. Let's see here. I was thinking maybe balmy blue. Balmy blue. Which is definitely going to be a lot more drab. Okay. What if we did... So I'm thinking now, if I were to do this again, I think what I would do is I would do a double matte. I would matte a maybe even 1/8 inch of this Melon Mambo and then do Balmy Blue as the base. So then I would cut probably a 1/4 inch off of this, and I'd cut it from this top and left side so that the sun, so that the sun would be moving up. So I think I'm gonna try that. Not exactly 100% what I was going for, but I think I can make it work. All right, so let's go ahead and take a 1/4 inch off and a 1/4 inch off. Ooh, navy card base. That would be nice too. All right. Oh, I like that. Oh, I really like that, Luann. I'm going to have to come up with a ribbon. All right, let's see if I've got a Melon Mambo scrap that I could use. I'm going to go with it. I would have never gone there, but I love the feedback that this is going to be a really good pop of color. And this is just too small, I think. Yup. Okay, so we're going to, okay, here we go. So, my sun layer is 5 by 3 3/4. So I'm going to make this 5 1/8. By 3 7/8. Is that what I was looking at? Yeah. 3 7/8. Oh, my phone's dying. Okay, so then we're going to have a nice thin border. Oh, I love it. And then we're going to do Balmy Blue. So this is going to be 5 1/2. Good night, Jeanette. Thank you so much for tuning in. Okay, so 4 1/4. All right, here we go. I'm digging this. Okay, we're gonna get the bone folder in here. And then I'm gonna glue these layers together. It seems like such a shame getting rid of this starry background, but we're doing it. That is one thing I've always disliked about two-sided DSP. I mean, I get it. I 100% get it, but it just makes me sad. So I do like when they put an ugly side and a pretty side together. It seems like they got pretty strategic about that. Oh, yeah. Okay, so then, oh, I love it. Very good. Thank you so much for tuning in, Rose. Okay. Okay, so now we've got all of those pieces together. Let's go ahead and put the rainbow on with dimensionals. Wait, I wanted some ribbon. Okay, give me a second while I grab some ribbon. Alrighty. I think I'm gonna try like Luann was saying. Great color choices. Inspired by the best. I literally never in a million years would have thought of putting Melon Mambo as that matte there, but it really, really elevates the card. So great feedback. This is some of the joy of live card making. Okay, so I'm just gonna run tear and tape along the exterior of the rainbow. And then you did it, Penny. All for you. Okay, so then for those of you that have been following Cards by Christine for a while, I so eloquently coined this the lamb technique. I don't know what it's actually called, but I saw this, or I don't even remember. We've been doing it for several years, and I just really love the layered ribbon effect that it gives. And so because for a couple of weeks and months there, it seemed like all I was doing, I dubbed it the lamb technique. And it, at least in this community of stampers, it's kind of stuck. So here we go, getting a little twisty here. Now, I've never done this on not a flat edge, so it's working pretty good. Then I need to, oh, I love it. Everything about this card is so bright and cheerful. See? I agree. Everything about this is such a happy and fun card. Now, there was really, really nothing wrong with the paper pumpkin version of this card either. But I was just seeing visions of grandeur when I saw the inside of this card, and because of the strong feelings I've been having about rainbows, I just knew I had to do something like this. Okay, so we're gonna put this rainbow heading over here, and to facilitate all of the, oh, let's see here. Well, I've successfully lost some more dimensions. Woohoo! To work around all of the ribbon that extra dimension that I have because of the ribbon, I'm going to put dimensionals on the inside of that rainbow. Now, my only fear is that I'm really putting a lot of visual weight on the lower right quadrant, and hopefully it doesn't look off balance with the upper portion of the card here. So that's what I'm really going to have in mind as I'm flipping this rainbow over. And then, of course, filling the inside. I think for this card, I'm going to put a white mat on the inside and just stamp a sentiment from that rainbow set. So let's go ahead. When I flip this over, I think what I'm going to do is hang it down so that it's covering the pink mat. Not that that's like my goal here. I'm trying to get as much of the sun visible as possible. So if I have it here, we're covering up a lot of the sun, which isn't bad necessarily, but I'm just going to pull it far down so that it's kind of resting on the base of the card. There we go. Sending you a rainbow of happiness. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and... My first thought was to Stella the Sun. But because it's intersecting with this ribbon that's got some iridescence to it... make your tape sandwich. Luann, I always forget that step. So, oops. To kind of help with that balance that I was talking about before... I think I'm going to put the Stella on the kind of rays radiating off the sun, and that's going to kind of fill in some of the details over there. So that's what I'm going to do, and then I think I'm going to call the outside done. No, I need some embellishments. Oh, such stress. Making cards is a big job. Okay. Now, when you get over to this upper right quadrant of the card, you really don't see where these sun, like the radiating sun rays are. So I'm just kind of following the pattern and putting more Stella onto that side of the card. So again, I don't know if this is really going to pick up for you on the camera. Oh, there we go, there we go. But it really helps to finish off the card. And then, man, am I going to find a place for embellishments on here? Where there's a will, there's a way, right? So I think we're going to grab... maybe kind of base them off the clouds? I don't know. This is where I very, very, very much struggle with random. So this is, a lot of times I'll kind of hover a rhinestone and not necessarily push it down until I feel a little better about its placement. So like I'll, ooh. I'm used to using my scissor for stuff like this. I really should use the Take Your Pick tool. I really should buy myself a Take Your Pick tool. Oh, maybe that'll be on my next shopping spree.
Should we add it to the list?
Probably. I should probably have one. Okay, so I'm not a huge fan of that. It's not bad. Oh, you can barely see that. So I put one at the base of each of the clouds. So I want to do 3 embellishments because we like to do in odd increments. Oh, I don't know. Maybe bring this one down a little. That's maybe good. A couple of birds. Okay, that is such a good idea. Next time. You guys are so creative. I love it. Okay, so now I'm going to put a white mat on the inside. And I could definitely double mat it with the Melon Mambo again, but just 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So we've got 4, by 5 1/4. And I'm just gonna do a single mat here. And in terms of a stamp, so on the outside we have sending you a rainbow of happiness. You make me happy. You make this world a better place, or a little something to brighten your day. I think a little something to brighten your day just sounds really nice. I thought about that, using the gems on the opposite corner. I was trying to pull them that way, but I felt like, at least from my mind's view, they felt like they were a little too hanging out there for no reason. They weren't anchored to anything, and I didn't like that. So they're gonna stay where they stay, and they're gonna be just about good enough. Okay, so a little something to brighten your day. I'm gonna stamp that in the center, and then I'm going to put a ring of rainbow around it, or 2, maybe. We'll see. So, which one fits? Is it this one? Oh, it does. So I'm gonna do crushed curry here. Mom, you're still on.
Somebody asked me if Mom ever watches mine, and I'm like, no.
So my mom is Chris's godmother, and my mom and I have been stamping with Chris for
Well, since you were probably born, no.
like
You were
20
probably
years
yeah.
at least, and we really enjoy this, and she's crafty and creative as well, so.
And she makes some of the like gifts that I send out to people.
And she does. She's one of Chris's little helpers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I like the yellow. Now I'm wondering if I should put one more around it. I think I'm going to do the pink to pull a little bit of that pink into the inside of the card. And then it's looking like my rainbow is a little off center, which was not very evident when you started with the sentiment in the middle, but as I'm branching my rainbow out here, it's becoming more noticeable, but that's okay. It's the inside and it's homemade, so that's how it goes sometimes. Okay, so that is going to be my inside. I'm going to glue that in, and then I'm going to bring both of my alternatives in for you to recap. Okay, so let's glue this in. Oopsies. Wow, I think we're getting out of glue here, but we'll get just enough out to get that stuck in. I love it. It's so pretty. Okay, so let's clean up our space a little bit so that you can actually see the cards. Crafting makes a lot of mess. It sure does. Okay, so we've got our bright cheerful card and our sleepy moon card. So here are our 2 alternatives. And then let's make some room over here for the 3 cards that came with the kit. I didn't even end up using the moon and stars that punched out. That's okay. All right, so then we've got the 3 cards from the kit itself. I'm going to put some things to hold down some corners here. Okay, that's just not really working. Okay, there we go. So, what did you think about Paper Pumpkin Night? What did you think of the kit? What did you think of the cards? What did you think of the alternatives? I hope you had a great time. I, in fact, had a wonderful time, as I always do. I'm so glad that you tuned in, and I have some attendance prizes to give. So let's go ahead and do some roll call. There are 2 extra kits left. I hear that we have 1 claim, so there's 2 left. There were 3. So we have April Anderson, Tracy Gruby, Millie Kindle, Laura Wood, Mo Stites, Elena Fryer, Cheryl Taylor, Tracy Seller, Janet Duchesne, Sharon Rush, Terry Lacree, Lori Kaiser, Patsy Schultes, Jolene Schrei, Brenda Crudwig, Patricia Gerlach, Patricia Williger, Marge Haas, and Elaine Rebeck are all joining us tonight. Can I have your phone? Mine died. And I need to do a random number generator to give away a prize from 1 until 19. So, we've got 1 to 19, and the winner is number 10, which is Sharon Rush. So,
she's lucky. She just won the prize last week, too.
Oh my goodness, she won last week too. So the wheel is ever in her favor. So congratulations, Sharon, and thank you to everyone who subscribes to Paper Pumpkin and participates in our Paper Pumpkin night. We appreciate your enthusiasm and participation. I always like having a captive audience, and I had a really great time tonight. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for loving up on my cards. I really appreciate it. Congrats, Sharon. What a lucky lady. Love spending the last hour and a half with you. Well, I enjoyed it too. So thank you guys so much for joining me and making my Monday night so cheerful and fun. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. It's off to a great start, right? I will be coming at you again on Thursday with Technique Thursday. I have to think about what that's gonna be yet, but I'll get it in there sometime. So you will catch Chris tomorrow with Tip Tuesday. I'll be back on Thursday with Technique Thursday, and then Chris has card class on Thursday night as well. So lots of fun coming at you this week. So I hope you have a wonderful week and look forward to catching you soon.